Let's get out of here, man. Peace, peace. Everybody is fine. They're in the room right now, just chilling with me as we go through this live. Good morning, everyone. It's the Hood Mystic, representing www.hoodmystic.com. Just want to give a special shout out to the Patreon family over at patreon.com/hoodmystic. We also do these daily energy readings every day for the family, giving people, some insight and just making sure that we're conscious every day of our, inner being and things of that nature. So we try to look for interesting things to talk about. And use astrology as kind of a guide to give us different insights on life. We do this 5 days a week. Doesn't cost anybody anything, but I would, like to suggest to the family, we do work for tips. So, the links are always in the descriptions, always in the comments, $1 or $2, just to keep the energy exchange going. We really appreciate that. But you asked about my wife and my child. They're doing well. Just growing together, learning about each other. It's a new situation for everybody, so we're all learning each other. But, we can't really complain. We're in a very peaceful place in our lives. And so this peace that I found in my personal life, in my personal being, I just like sharing it every day. And hopefully you could gain something from it and, get this peace in your life. But basically, we're just going to discuss some astrology. Today is Friday. And, the song that I play every Friday is called Oshun. I have a very deep relationship to that deity, to that energy, and also to this day. And so this day represents a lot. Yesterday, we discussed Venus slightly when we were discussing the decan of where Jupiter was in Scorpio. And so Venus is representing the third decan of Scorpio. But today we're talking about the first decan of Scorpio, where Venus, the planet, is actually at. So when I said that Venus represents freedom, I want to keep that theme going. When I say Venus represents freedom, right? What's today? Friday. Everything is phonetic in this world. Freedom, Friday. You understand, these things are synonymous. And oh my God, it's the weekend. I'm free from my job for a couple of days. So remember when I said think about it, expound on it, try it in your life. Where is Venus at in your chart? That's where you're free at. That's where you can utilize your talents, your gifts, and abilities. Freedom is such a catch-22, because to be free from something, you have to first initially be bound. And so when we discuss the first decan of Scorpio, we're talking about disappointment. And so today we're going to take a closer look into disappointment. The first decan of Scorpio, where Venus is at, where we're trying to, figure out freedom. And so in this live today, people viewing this live, people watching this video, everybody on the planet has some disappointment. Everybody has something that they're bound to, that they want to be released from. When I mention everybody, I want to mention everybody because I want to get us into the mode of acceptance. As a family, as one unit of thought, a collective consciousness, let us accept the reality that disappointment exists. Because I want you to realize that once you accept the reality that disappointment exists in all walks, in all forms of life, that acceptance leads to transformation. Because every time you go through something negatively or adversely, there is a point to it. There is a transformational point. There is a pivot to it. And once you realize that pivot, then you realize that this is the freedom that I once sought. But until I got to that disappointment, until I accepted this disappointment, until I transformed my energy, then I could never truly be free. If I'm going to backtrack, if I'm going to tie this all up into one perfect little bow, then I first have to understand that everything happens for a reason. And this is the first decan of Scorpio. And people want to argue the point that everything happens for a reason. And so if you argue this point and you say, no, some things happen that they're just not right, Hood Mystic, and it's just not right, Hood Mystic, and they need to pay for it, I'll say you're right. But that's not going to help us understand ourselves by pointing the fingers and pointing out the obvious. Because when we're born into this world, like nature, right? Nothing in nature is symmetrical. Everything that grows out of the ground is completely, it has form, but it's not like 90-degree angles and straight lines. There's a lot of squiggly, different little patterns and, blockages and things of that nature. The whole point of being a seed is being disappointed that you're not a goddamn oak tree. So the realization is that I'm this seed right now. I'm supposed to be an oak tree. What am I going to do about it? What am I going to do about it? You got to get your ass deep into the ground, burrow deep into the ground, deep into yourself, and seek that transformation, seek that change. And this is what Scorpio is really, it's really opening you up to real change. This is where shit gets deep at in the astrology realms. Everything is all peaceful and realization and smart. And then you hit Scorpio. Then it's a realization that you might have to throw everything away. And so if I throw everything away, then I'm going to have to start to really examine life. And so this is where we get to the transits that we're going to be speaking on, or the particular aspects to the first decan of Scorpio where Venus relies. So I'm hoping I'm making sense. I'm hoping I'm making this information streamlined because I feel as though it makes sense to me, but that doesn't mean that I'm doing a good job of explaining it. So any type of expounding that you need, any type of deeper explanation, or you want to talk to me one-on-one, please hit me up at hoodmystic@gmail.com. But for the most part, to wrap it all up, Venus in the first decan of Scorpio represents freedom, but that freedom does not come from just living a perfect life, being envious of people. That freedom first comes from you having a deep disappointment, and then you transforming that disappointment, then you get freedom. So when we look at our lives and we look at the difficulties or the adverse effects in our lives, we are looking at a lot of magic. We are looking at a lot of positivity. Because if we know that we're supposed to transform and alchemize this negative effects and negative experiences in our lives, then that's a lot of resources. If you had a difficult life, or you got a lot of trauma, or you got a lot of pain, we got to transmute this stuff. We got to transform this energy. We cannot simply look at our pain, look at our trauma, and create, frame it and hang it up on the wall. And everybody that comes in our house, look at our trauma, look at our pain. Isn't it so beautiful? So if this happens in your life, if this happening around you, take note of it. Realize that those people may not be progressing with you as you develop your consciousness, but you need to do this shit for yourself first. Trying to worry about other people. If you realize you're hung up or stuck on a particular negative paradigm, and that person next to you is hung up and stuck on that negative paradigm, and you realize that, hey, my thoughts are expanding past this pain. And if you know how bonds are created through hatred, when you both hate something, ooh, that bond is very tight and thick, because y'all think that, both of y'all think that something is outside of you is greater. Whether it be the world, whether it be the government, whether it be your state, whether it be your city. Oh, if you hate something, you'll find some people that's gonna hate some stuff with you. But then you start to develop your consciousness. Then deeper truths begin to illuminate and rise to the surface. But it's just for you. And then the person sitting next to you may not realize what's happening to you. So I say that to say there's a real difference between honesty and truth. Truth is found deep within your spiritual journey. Honesty is some stuff that is actually honest, but there's no real investigation. You know, it could be some honest shit. But the more you dig deeper, that honesty has to be, it normally gets changed. It gets transformed. And so as we grow into our adult lives, we create this honesty for ourselves. And so Venus in the first decan, square Mars, represents honesty. Mind you, we're walking in a sandstorm. And that metaphor, that analogy, if you've been following the channel, you'll understand when I say we're walking in a sandstorm, where Mars in Aquarius, where you don't have full view of the future. You can only see what's in front of you. That sandstorm is thick. So to say that it's a sunny day outside might be honest, but you realize that there's different levels of sight and different levels of being. There is a spiritual world that permeates this physical world. And this physical world is inundating you with so much stimulus that the spiritual world can somehow almost always be ignored. But now, you can't ignore it. It's right in your face. So that honesty has to be switched. This is a square. So a square is I'm walking. It's a straight, narrow view. I'm walking. And then all of a sudden, my path stops. A square is realizing I must take a right turn. What's the problem with human beings? They're walking, they hit a block. Mama, I hit a block. What should I do? Turn right. Pivot. Honesty is malleable. Your honesty could change the more you understand about your relationships, the more you understand about your spirituality, the more you understand about tarot, the more you understand about astrology, the more you understand about your spiritual system. Your honesty is not set in stone, but you might get an idea that feels so comfortable. Like this person loving me forever. And of course, that's honest in the moment. When we say our vows and we exchange rings, I could not love you more in this moment. But the more time I spend with you, the more of the truth is being unveiled. And now my honesty is coming under fire. If we know this, then we always know this. If we don't know this, then we never know this. And people have lived and died for honesty and have never even smelt truth. I'm talking generations of souls never knowing truth. Because truth is spiritual. Truth is not found in humanity. Truth is not found in the physical world. Truth is found in relationships between me and you when our spirits connect one-on-one without pure, unadulterated, not looking at you, judging you, making you feel no type of way for your imperfections, because everybody on this planet has imperfections. Everybody has imperfections. So if I'm gonna look at somebody and be like, you got imperfections, bro, I'm wrong. Because it's important to develop truth. The truth that I'm speaking of is not honesty. Honesty, you find it at the store, at the mall, at the movies. Honesty is everywhere. Your husband can be honest with you. Your wife can be honest with you. But y'all are never truthful with each other because the truth is way too real for some honesty to even, when I speak the truth, walls come tumbling down. When we all speak the truth, this whole world is going to change. But the truth is found deep in your spirit. The truth is found deep in your gut. The truth is found in your enteric nervous system. Enteric nervous system. Look that up. And so square Mars, honesty, square North Node, the truth of your existence. The North Node has been in Leo for a while. Man, the North Node in Leo is about, okay, a Leo could be confident, but a Leo didn't wake up confident. A Leo has worked and studied and realized some shit about himself that gives him an eccentric point of view. So therefore, it comes off as arrogance and cockiness. But you don't know what that person has been through to get to the point that where he's at. You wasn't with that person 24 hours a day. You judging that person. So North Node in Leo is this self-realization, and it is about to go into Cancer. But for now, we still basking in the fire of our truths. And if you are focused on your disappointment, this is a square. So let's meet those squares. Let's meet those points of basking in your spiritual truth and realizing that everybody has disappointment. Everybody has imperfections. There is no standard human mold. It doesn't exist. Wherever you at, you in a perfect, blissful state to totally love yourself in this moment. Totally love yourself in this moment, because really what we are blood and guts. The skin is just to hold the blood and guts together. If we were to really look at ourselves, we'd be looking at some ghouly, bloody, intestinal, we all skin and bone, you know, whatever. This is what we are. Don't get caught up on the paint job, my nigga. Get caught up on the personal interaction feeling that that person gives to you. Now, a lot of people go to work, meet somebody, because the 10th house is work, right? We go to work, get all that dreamy feeling with our work. It's even a term, right? Work husband, right? That's even a real thing. Where people go to work because the 10th house is where we're going in life, have a blissful romance, love going to work, get so fine. Ooh, girl, shit. You get so fine when you go to work. Go to work, experience this bliss, and then go home and then feel like shit because they with somebody based on obligation and not personal interaction and feeling and vibration. This has to change. We have to wake up the masses to speak their truths. And I know it's going to take a while. It might not happen in my lifetime. But what I'm doing today is setting the seed and sending the channel throughout the cosmos that we're ready for truth, because this energy is also trine Neptune. So this clarity that I'm speaking from is not, this is not Kyrie speaking this. This is me channeling ancient information, spiritual truth, and just using my mouth to be the vessel. I want you guys to understand that, because I could not think of this. I could not put this presentation together. I'm just one person. I got a whole family that I take care of that I don't even know how I even do that. My whole life consists of me taking care of my family. So the things that I do as far as like YouTube and on the internet and all of that, that is spiritual. And when I say spiritual, meaning that it improves some shit. It makes some shit better. Spiritual shit. I don't know what they talking about. I'm not talking about this shit for $59.99. I'm not talking about, you know, anything outside of finding yourself, using yourself to make your life the shit. Because Neptune sextile Pluto is a whole, this is just the beginning, because we have moved into a spatial alignment of long-term benefic effects. As Jupiter trine Neptune moves out of aspect, Pluto and Neptune move into a sextile. When you have transits that involve Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, for somewhat Jupiter, for somewhat Mars, these aspects last longer because the planets move slower. So as we discuss these planets, it's best to talk about them over repetitiously so you can fully tap into the energy, because if you talk about it one time, you'll forget about it. But the reality of it is that it still exists. So I find value in discussing astrology daily because astrology applies daily. It doesn't stop being an astrological aspect because I stop paying attention to it. Realizing the more that I pay attention to it, the more that it's going to pay attention to me. And this is growth. So this is recognizing, corresponding with celestial energies requires you to have effort. Though Oshun ain't going knock on your door. I mean, maybe if you're my wife. But for the most part, we have to, even her, we all have to recognize and honor and give thanks to the truth of celestial beings. And when I say celestial beings, you don't have to get all hocus pocus with me one time. We could just talk about the loved ones that you've known that have transitioned to another realm. What are they now? Where are they now? Heaven edition. I crack myself up, man. I don't know about y'all. Oh, man. We can end with that. Okay. How are y'all doing today? I feel like I've never felt before. Oh my God. Prince of Wands. This is where I'm at right now. And all the fellas this week, I hope we've been on the same vibe. I know it's not easy. Sometimes throughout these presentations, I take time to just simply talk with the guys, have some guy talk. Even if you're in a relationship, even if you're having sex, retain your semen. Even if you have to masturbate, you can enjoy sex and not waste your semen. Because you take your semen, one little semen can create a whole life, brother. When you ejaculate millions of semen. So not wasting it, brother, is what we need to do. And it's not easy. Nothing that I'm saying is easy, but you have to find it within yourself to understand this for a truth. And we'll talk about this in full detail at some point. We'll revisit this topic, but I just want to touch on it real quick. The Prince of Wands, brothers, he is using his sexual energy to guide him. Therefore, he is not wasting it. Very important shit. And like I said, you do not have to stop having sex. You do not have to stop masturbating. You do not have to lose sexual attraction. Matter of fact, when you retain semen, you have sex more because you have more sexual energy. You're not wasting it. You can have sex all day, in theory, once you master the art of not releasing your semen. So women, speak to your men about it. Men, do the knowledge. The Five of Swords. Defeat. We all fail. We all face defeat. We all have a particular adversity. You need to address it. Once you fully address these conflicts, you are reaching a level of supreme. The whole idea is that people know that you feel a certain type of way about your past, and that's how they manipulate you and control you. Once you fully invest into the idea that you're a spiritual being, it's hard for a person to manipulate you because you're manipulating yourself. You're manipulating the reality. You are no longer a victim to someone. Everybody that enters into your life, you've caused them to come into your life. Everything is made up. And we're fully expanding on our views of the world by enveloping ourselves into our consciousness. If we are focusing on the times that we lost, the times that we got our ass kicked, then we're not really getting it yet. And I'm speaking to the woke people, the conscious people. Because completion resides in opposites. You can't have you can't be complete and be positive. Meaning that I cannot start a car with simply a positive charge. I can't cut my damn lights on in my house with a positive charge. I couldn't run this computer with just positive bits. I need a positive bit and a negative bit. It goes back and forth, binary code. Completion represents understanding this and moving forward with that understanding that positive and negative are synonymous. I need to get over this shit. And so the Hangman is really getting to a point where you're finding a solution. Within this picture, within the Hangman is a solution. His feet rest on solid ground. His feet rest within the Ankh and raising his Kundalini, but he doesn't realize it. His mind is focused on the terrestrial world and everything he thinks about. But if one was to ground and meditate and refocus his being and start over and really stay connected to the goddess energy, the same energy that can grow a tree, the same energy that can grow grass without you having to manipulate it, without you having to pray over it, You don't have to pray over no goddamn grass to grow. That shit grows naturally based on the earth's energy that we can access if we just simply ground and open ourselves up to it. But no, we're too focused on what happened with Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. We're too focused on our Google News and our Instagrams and our Snapchats, and then we back to Facebook, and then it's like back and forth all day. But realizing that your truth is found in clearing, grounding, being present, that's a solution. And so the Six of Wands is speaking to the studying, the understanding, the learning that a person has gotten, and now he's being expanded from the stuff that he knows. This is victory. You can't just be victorious and not know shit. You can't just be expecting me to learn some stuff for you. I can't learn anything for you, but knowledge is power. And as the nodes are in Leo, you have the opportunity to not really be so focused on how you're learning or what you're learning. Just focus in on your spiritual grounding and learn that. See what spirit has to tell you. Be open to what your spirit has to tell you. And then when it comes, you're active with it. You're writing. You're putting fire to it. Four of Cups. Luxury. Luxury. Reveling. Enjoyment. Security. Peace. This is what I find within. And it sound cliche and it sound crazy, and a lot of conscious niggas done beat this idea to death, but for me it's a reality. And for me it's not a catchphrase. I don't incorporate, you know, pop culture or, you know, have to decode movies to tell you about my spirituality. I don't have to pull from nothing other than myself. So I really hope that this message resonated with you. And if you're interested in books or anything like that, be sure to check out this book by Brad Blanton. If you don't even want to buy the book and you just want to read the quotes is like, look for the quotes on this book. This shit is downright amazing. Radical honesty, how to transform your life by telling the truth. Realizing that nobody tells the truth in your relationships. Y'all not telling the truth at work. Nobody's telling the truth. Everybody's lying. But once you learn to tell the truth all the time about everything, your life changes. You understand? Because what you're doing by what you're doing by lying to everybody around you is that you're wasting your time, you're wasting your energy, you're wasting your life. Because you're lying, but you're being honest, but you're not being truthful. And you can't be truthful because you don't understand where your truth lies. Your truth lies in your gut, not in you figuring some shit out. The truth can be accessed at every moment. But who's really there to bring this truth to light? I know I am, but it's so hard to cultivate truth in other people. Man. So, yeah. If you guys want the PayPal, it is paypal.me/thehoodmystic. The email for it is I'll put the email in the comments, but you know, if there are any tips or if there are any kind of good favor that you guys want to give me, I will accept it. Like I said, paypal.me/thehoodmystic, but then also Cash App Hoodmystic 38 with a $sign in the beginning. But all those links would be at the in the description and then further down in the comments. So, you know, this was a good build. This was interesting. I can't wait to listen to it because I don't even know what the hell I said. I don't even know what I was even just talking about right now. So bizarre. But yeah. Hope y'all have a good day though. Shit.